Yeah. Yeah, I've got the stuff. One purple puffle. Swing by in about an hour. You know where I'm stationed, right? Yeah, meet me in the alleyway next to my shop. Okay. I look forward to doing business with you too. See you soon. I am so sorry. How long were you waiting there? I was talking to a client and they're a bit of a chatterbox. But welcome to the illegal Puffle adoption center, where I have traveled to a mystical island, which is home to penguins and their little colourful pets called Puffles, and I've basically just kidnapped so many of them and brought them to our world, and I'm now selling them to people. How did you hear about us? Because it's very word of mouth, because we don't really like to advertise ourselves. Yeah, you heard it from him. Oh, okay. Well, you look cool. You don't look like a cop. You're not a cop, are you? Okay, good. So we've established that you're not a cop, and that you're here to purchase a puffle, or perhaps more than one. What is a puffle? Well, like I said, they're colourful balls of fluffiness. And as far as I'm aware, you can only get them from this island, this mystical island, which, if the world's going the way it's going, it won't be around for much longer. But I basically went there and stole a bunch of the puffles ethical theft. I'm saving them in a way, and I've brought them here to sell to people because I think puffles are amazing, and I think more people should learn about them. And it's just a damn shame that the government, won't allow them. The government actively tries to tell people puffles aren't real. It just boils my blood. But anyway, I'm here to sell some puffles and to make people happy. And that client, that was actually, I shouldn't really be telling you this, but that was actually Pedro Pascal. Yeah, he loves puffles, and he had his heart set on a purple one, and I just actually went on an expedition back to the island, and I got a real nice one for him. So I hope he'll like it. So. What are you interested in? Tell me a bit about yourself. What kind of personalities do you like? What kind of personality do you have? Do you have any favorite colors? All of this is good information for me. It's so that I can pick out the right puffle. We have puffles of every color, every personality. Some puffles are a bit wild and they like to wear hats, so we do sell some puffles that come with their own hats, which is very exciting. So what's your name? Tell me about yourself. Oh, interesting. Wow. This is going to be difficult, from the information you just told me. I'm going to have to really think about what kind of puffles would suit you best. I think what would be best if I just brought some out and showed them to you. So maybe because it's like that thing, where you don't choose a pet chooses you. Maybe one will jump out at you. Okay. So the first guy we have here is a green puffle. I don't really have names for any of them because they fly off the shelf. People really love these puffles. So this guy is green. Maybe you could come up with a fun name that has green in it, like Greenman or Greenberg or Greneth. Something with green in it, or something whatever you want, you know, it'll be your Puffle, so you can name them anything you want. So I've only had this guy for a couple of days, but he's given me just happy to be here vibes, you know. You know, that type of, you know, the type of personality where your whole world is crashing down around you, nothing's going well, but you know, you still seeing it through. You know, this is what it gives me, that vibe. Like, you know, when everything in your life is going awful, terrible, you'll have this little guy, and you'll look at this face, and it'll remind you that no matter how bad things get, you can always be positive. That won't fix anything, but you know, it's nice to be positive. So I feel like you do get along with this guy. I think should we set him to the side? I think we'll set him to the side, because I'm getting a connection between you and little, perhaps a name could be potentially Lime. That's a good name. Limes are green, so he could be Lime, your little Lime. So I'll set him to the side. Okay, so next up we've got, whoa, easy boy, whoa, sorry, this is a red Puffle. They're very aggressive. Okay, just be calm, okay, Jesus. I have the hardest time rehoming red Puffles. Their personalities are very, you know, like, oh my god, I can't stand this guy, but you can't say anything, because if you do, he'll fly off the rails, probably break a table, flip a table, punch a hole in the wall after he loses a game of, like, I don't know, League of Legends or something. By the way, do not let these Puffles play League of Legends. It's like, you know how with Gizmo and the Gremlins don't feed them after midnight. Do not let Puffles play League of Legends, okay? In fact, don't let anybody you know play League of Legends. Anyway, let's take a little bit of a closer look. So, what names could we be given Lil Red here? Fury, that's a cool name. Steven, it doesn't have anything to do with red, but he kind of looks like a Steven. I don't know, like I said, red, not a lot of love for the red guys. But I have mixed feelings on red. I like the colour red, so I therefore like the red Puffle, but it's a little scary, you know. These things on the island roamed in packs, and they would, you know, target poor penguins and steal all their coins. It was a horrible thing, so I try not to grab too many, but some people have a love for the red Puffle. Perhaps that's you. What do you think about old Red here? You know, Red in its own way is a good name. You can't really call green Puffle green, because that's a bit shit, but red kind of works, you know. You're not sure? Okay, I understand. Well, sorry Red, but you're going back into the box. Like I said when you came in here, you give me a cool vibe. So let me introduce you to Mr. Cool. This is a blue Puffle. And, you know, just look at that face. What a cool dude. What a cool little fella. But yeah, blue Puffle was very popular. A lot of people love blue Puffles. They're very easy to take care of. You know, they kind of do their own thing. They're kind of like cats. So, yeah, you know, a lot of people like them for that. They're very laid back, very chill creatures, the blue Puffle. So, if you're looking for a pet that you don't really want to mess around with, you just want to let it do its own thing, blue Puffle over here would be quite good for you, I think. And again, you couldn't just name this guy Bluey. Bluey, you know, it's a nice name. Blue Dog. Gotta be a cool name for a cool dude, like Blue Dude, or Crash Fist Fight. That's a cool name. If I met somebody and their pet was called Crash Fist Fight, I wouldn't mess with them. So, what do you think about Blue Puffle? You like him? You know, who doesn't? It's Blue Puffle. Look at this cool dude. Look at that look. Can't get cooler than a Blue Puffle, so I'll put him in the maybe pile. Okay, I'm gonna bring out 2 Puffles at the same time. Can you handle that? Okay, so I have here orange Puffle and white Puffle. Let's start with orange Puffle. Orange is a goofball, you know. He's got some buck teeth, and you know what about this guy? They love to play and dig. They're all energy. You know what I would name this guy? Tango, right off the top of my head. Tango, or Michael. Anything. I know I'm not great at naming things, but you might be, and I bet you could come up with some great names. Dorito. That could be a good name. Carrot. So, you know, you definitely got to give them some nice names. Personally, orange is my favourite out of all of the Puffles. Easily my favourite. I love orange. They're so much fun. Like I said, they're all energy, all the time. So if you're looking more for a pet, that is, you know, more hands-on, you know, lots of playing, lots of exercise, I would honestly recommend the orange Puffle. You'll think about it. Okay, I'm going to put him with the green and blue then. And then we have the white Puffle. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. This guy, bit of a nerd. Okay, he's a bit of a loser. He's just, you know, it's just, I mean, just look at him, you know, like, listen, I love all Puffles, I do, but when I see this guy, I'm just like, you know, who would want him? Who would want him? I'm not even gonna come up with a name for him because he doesn't deserve one. You know, so this is for, you know, the losers, the weirdos, you know. Are you either of those things? No? Okay, I wasn't saying that you were, but I was just curious. I mean, you can like him if you want to, but you know. So, what do we think about the white Puffle? Oh, you are interested, really? You might. I think you're the first person who's actually said that they wanted a white Puffle. Okay, but I'm not judging. Okay, I'll put him with the others. Now we have one funky fellow, who's the same colour as one of the Puffles you're already thinking about, but like I said, this one comes with a nice hat. So we've got another orange Puffle here. So same personality and all sorts, but it's got a cool hat. So the Puffles with hats, they come with the hat fused onto their head. He can't take this off. It's a horrible practice in Club Penguin. I think it is outlawed now, but yeah, he's stuck like this. But look at his smile. He's happy. You know, he's living his life. So, like I said, I'm not going to really explain too much about the orange Puffle. You already know. He's just got a cool hat. You're interested? Wonderful. Alright, I'm going to put him with the rest. Okay, so I have your Puffles here. Do you want all of them, or, you know, I can do a deal if you want. That poor red Puffle's just staring at me from the ground. Poor red Puffle's just staring up at me. Poor guy, but if he could just control his temper, I'm sure he'd be more liked. So, what are we thinking? Like I said, I'm more than happy to do a discount if you want to take all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Puffles away with you. You'll do that. Wonderful. Even the white one. Even the white one. Okay. Well, do you want them in a bag? I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, you'll take them just as they are. Okay, that's probably for the best. Little information about Puffles. You gotta feed them regularly, play with them, walk them and everything. If you don't, they will leave you. they're quite smart and intelligent, so if they realise that you're not really doing anything for them, they'll just leave. Might even take your car, so, you know, treat them nicely. And yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know. They eat regular dog and cat food, so, but you can feed them like cookies and stuff. Yeah, so all of those puffles, I could sell them to you $5,000. Now they're exotic pets, they're rare, and I usually, for 5 puffles, I'd usually be selling them $3,000 each. Because you're buying 5, I'm going to give you $1,000 for each puffle, so 5k. Oh, wonderful. Oh, there's the money. Wow, thank you. That looks like 5k. It smells like 5k. Thank you. It's been a pleasure doing business with you. So I've got to meet Pedro Pascal now, out back, so that's what I'm going to go and do. But you enjoy your puffles, okay? I think you guys are going to be very happy with each other. So thanks for coming in. Bye. Yeah, it's me. So, are you still interested in that green puffle? Yeah, well, I just sold one, but I've got one more in the back. Alright, swing by in 30 minutes. I'm meeting Pedro Pascal soon. Yeah, I love the guy. He's amazing. Selling him a purple puffle, yeah.